not taking that back. That
Well, I was-
request still stands.
When I was, yeah, but I was sure that's around the tree. What do you want? You want to mail it? And somebody.
I just think that's too much signature.
No, I thought you were talking about, I
Especially last.
I had them.
Sunday.
Okay.
because it was scheduled. It wasn't emergency.
Well, that's
I thought he was.
My son was.
Sunday.
They were so.
Lost track of days.
Yeah.
It was a possibility.
Yeah, because
He said he had a pretty complete bit, and then he said, "What happened yesterday?" And I'm thinking,
You know, there's good friends. Along with area.
when Tom had been mentioning it, and he said like a month ago, he was saying the 20th.
Oh, yeah.
So
That would be Monday.
Yeah.
Okay. It's just all got mixed up then. I was working too many
Yeah,
hours.
I since we're the wire break back today, they were mad.
I don't know exactly, and he said that
Back to.
I can't remember the doctor said
I'm
something
sorry,
about.
I just wanted to ask you,
Now,
sorry, about your email.
wire
That
With them at wire frame.
don't want to.
Yeah.
No,
I
I.
Dr. Hayes for himself to know that
I
he'll
saw
be.
that.
I worked with that wire break in
Like,
Portland, and then they were back in Madras with Friends County.
It's a lot of these real things. That's what Cam's.
What do you have, Josh?
Right.
I didn't see anything with this.
I'm
Oh, they have to.
right. It's so.
Oh, that thing. Okay, on consent. It's on consent, yeah.
I guess it.
You're smart.
No. Okay, since.
Get your
okay.
contract done too.
Remember, all the
Yeah, yeah. I know. So that's why we just need to know.
Yeah.
Oh, did you email him to me or something?
Oh, so you guys are writing it. All right, well then stay out of the middle till we get to it.
Yeah.
I came back, basically, I added, there's a
Okay.
usual clauses,
Oh, good.
day, non-rescission.
I'm hoping.
The trial, got it.
Yeah, it's scary, right? Yeah, I mean, I'm in a boat. It's like a bacterial.
Yeah.
Master.
Right, but
Anyways.
And then of course.
big guy was in.
Back. Oh.
He's here.
Thanks.
Ron's.
Yeah.
I put this in. And so it's 9,000, just nothing. Is my bar dues, which is $500.
Yes, I remember that. Okay.
And then,
The indemnification. The indemnification.
oh yeah, well, I was telling you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
There's
that's got
a,
it. He's a DA, so, yeah,
Yeah.
because
just take it
I
out.
just gave him moving professional services.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
I haven't seen any of this, so
and my goal is,
when I do, I
and
will.
this is important as
So it'd just be
does
for you.
department as an expert, right? Cook
I mean,
County,
it's just something you guys know.
going flying to LA,
Is it, can we do?
depot prep,
So we need to do a new agreement.
they're with us, and then I'm in.
was the first one?
We haven't got the bill yet.
Okay.
Yeah, I would like to know how much that one session was. That'd be interesting.
Goal is to at least,
Oh, okay.
I think it's.
Okay.
Good evening. The Board of Commissioners is the governing body of Clatsop County. All county service districts for which this body so acts. As the Clatsop County Contract Review Board is now meeting in regular session. Please join me for the flag salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag
Of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
May I have the roll call, please?
Commissioner Necker? Here. Commissioner Clement?
Here.
Commissioner Lee?
Here.
Commissioner Sullivan and Thompson are excused.
And County Manager Morris, excuse also, he's not doing well. Tonight, Monica, welcome aboard, Monica.
Thank you.
Tonight, we're going to have a presentation from the Clatsop Forestry and Wood Products Economic Development Committee. Welcome. Come on up and introduce yourself. Come on up. I got one little detail I got to take care of. I'm looking for a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
Second?
We got a motion to second to approve the agenda. All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Thank you. Okay. Thank you, Monica. Well, welcome. I look forward to your presentation tonight.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for giving us some time. My name's Tom Clark.
Sometimes you might want to pull the microphone. We've had a problem here getting
We're
this
having
microphone
microphone issues, so you got to talk right into it.
Okay, is that better?
Yeah.
Perfect.
My name's Tom Clark. I'm an engineering forester with Lewis and Clark Timberlands and the chair of the Clatsop County Forest and Wood Products Economic Development Committee.
I'm Lois Purdue. I'm the plant manager at Hampton Lumber. Do you need our address?
No, I know where that is.
No,
Yeah.
I thought we were supposed to give our
Sometimes
address.
when you're on, just in public testimony, it's,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay, and so I thought I'd just start by reading the committee's mission and goals so everybody knows what it is that we do. So pursuant to the following bylaws, the mission of the Clatsop Forestry and Wood Products Economic Development Committee is to share educational information regarding wood and paper products, forest management, land use, and related issues with community leaders and the general public. Our primary goals are to 1, educate community leaders and the public about the status and importance of the forest sector in the regional economy, and 2, stimulate economic planning efforts and economic development projects in the forest sector for the benefit of local communities. Our committee members are Kevin Leahy, he's the vice chair, myself, chair, Lindsay Davis, with OSU Extension, she's our treasurer. Valerie Grant is our secretary. Leanne Thompson, who unfortunately wasn't able to be here to cheer us on tonight. Mark Gustafson, Mark Morgans, Dan Goody, the district forester with Oregon Department of Forestry, Craig Sorter with Weyerhaeuser, Cliff Tuttle with Hampton Warrenton, Lois Purdue with Hampton Warrenton, Jed Arnold with Hampton Warrenton, and Tom Scoggins with representing the Society of American Foresters. And with the approval of the Clatsop County Board of Commissioners, we will continue to operate with that with those members.
Sure.
Okay. So I'll start with, I want to invite you all to our annual community leaders tour that we hold every fall. This year it will be Wednesday, October 17th, from about 7:45 in the morning to around 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And this is a good opportunity to get out in the woods and see firsthand exactly what it is goes on in the forest industry, and have an opportunity to see the most recent technology and techniques for habitat improvement. This year it'll be hosted by Hampton and also on Oregon Department of Forestry lands. And of course, lunch will be provided, as well as plenty of opportunities to have industry-related questions answered by industry professionals. There's little handout, little flyers. There's in your packets, but for anybody else interested, they're on the side table over there. If you register online for that, I'm sure you'll be receiving more information as far as meeting location and agendas.
Any questions?
No, I went on the tour a couple years ago. It was very informative. It was great to get out on the ground out there and see how things are done and walk around in the mud. It was awesome. And the lunch was good too.
I'm glad you enjoyed it. So another event that we participate in annually is the Clatsop County Job and Career Fair. And we have a table there each year, primarily to educate high school students, recent high school grads, and other job seekers about the opportunities in the forest and wood products sector. And it's a lot of fun getting out there and doing that, and kind of putting your finger on the pulse of the labor market out there, and getting a feel for how aware people are of the opportunities right here in the county. Really great participation this year from all the high schools in the county, and it seems like all the graduating seniors have a pretty good idea of where they're going and what they're doing after high school. So that was pretty promising to see that. Yep. So the other side of our committee is educating folks about the economic impacts and economic importance of the sector. So the forestry and wood products sector in Clatsop County represents about, these numbers are as of 2017, by the way, 1,565 jobs. It's 7.7% of the total employment in the county. And that's representative of $111 million of annual payroll. The average wage was just shy of $60,000, and that's roughly 30% of the county's economic base is tied to this sector. Oh, and just for a point of reference, the average wage in Clatsop County is $27,000, so pretty good paying jobs out there too. And as most people understand, the county is largely comprised of forest land, and that land is divvied up like this. 52% of it is in large private ownership. 32% of the land is in state or other public holdings, and 16% of the land, of the forest land, is in small private ownership. And with that, I'll turn it over to Lois, and she can update us on Hampton's economic impacts.
Thank you. So my presentation is very similar to how it was last year. Hampton provides about 142 full-time living wage jobs. The average wage is $23 an hour at the mill, with an annual payroll of over $12 million. But I'm really proud to work in this sector and what we do in the community. Some examples of what we've been doing: we've been working with Kevin in the community internship program, and we're bringing in folks and teaching them about opportunities in our area, whether it's at the mill or out at Big Creek or even at corporate. But it's not just labor jobs. There's technical jobs that we need to fill as well, and so we're trying to bring in those students and teach them what opportunities are around in our community. Another thing that Hampton did this year was put on a Girls Build program, and that's teaching 8 to 14-year-old girls different skills, whether it's how to use a hammer or a saw, or plumbing, or just different skills that they don't typically get exposed to, because we recognize that getting people to come into our industry is getting harder and harder, and we want to show folks that, well, for one, we want to take advantage of the other half of the population, right? A lot of women or ladies don't believe that they can work in the mill, and that's just not true. Most of the jobs that they can do. So we need to be able to recruit those folks into our industry as well. And another example is we have one of our engineers that helps at the robotics team. And then you guys all have met Cliff and know how involved in the community he is. Unfortunately, he just retired, so he's going to help out in Nehalem now. But I encourage any of you to reach out to any of us on the CFEDC or Hampton to learn more about our industry, modern forestry, the techniques we're using, because it's pretty good stuff.
Yeah. I have a question.
Okay.
So, I know this wasn't a problem 10 years ago, but some of our local industries, including mine, I've had a problem with recruitment. And so are you having troubles filling recruitment at the mill right now?
Absolutely.
I know that's kind kind of like good news shrouded in bad news, so that's a problem. Has it been like the last 2 years, right?
It's probably been a little longer than that, but, you know, we've tried to recruit for skilled labor forces outside of the area, and they move into the area, and not everybody likes the Oregon coast. So what we've been trying to do is start apprenticeship programs and build from within, and teach
Right.
folks that like the area how to do the different skilled jobs that we can do.
So you've had to put some energy and strategies in recruitment and training.
Yeah, so currently we have 12 different apprentices at the mill learning, whether it's electrical or millwrighting, PLC, grading, saw filing, all of that, because we haven't had great success bringing people in from outside the area.
Yeah, it's you know, there just weren't those kind of opportunities. You know, when I came of age was during an economic downturn, and there just wasn't, it must be nice to get out of school and have so many different options available and training right here in the community.
Yeah, so we want people to stay, we don't want them to leave,
Yeah,
so
great.
we're trying to teach them.
Any other members have questions or comments?
I appreciate the information.
Yeah, this is a lot of great information. Thank you.
I appreciate that.
And so I'll just finish up real quick with a few more numbers. Regarding the Clatsop State Forest, the 2018 tax revenue projection looks like this. The total tax revenue projection for the year of 2018 off the state forest is $47.3 million. And the share that will come back to the county is about 63% of that, or $30 million. And one number I like to throw in there, because I think it's really important, is the share of that number that goes back into the schools in the county, and that's 61% of that county share, which is $18.4 million from the Clatsop State Forest, is going into our schools. Similar numbers from Lewis and Clark Timberlands. These are actually, I might have put a typo in there. This is actually 2017 revenue. We don't have a projection for 2018. We go off of real numbers. But our 2017 taxes paid to the county were just shy of $1 million, $985,000, and the share to the schools was about $517,000. So with that, if there aren't any other questions, then we'll wrap up.
All right. Thank you so much for your presentation.
Thank you.
Thanks again for the time.
You bet. Thank you. All right. Now is the time for business from the public. Is there any business from the public today? Seeing no business from the public, look for a motion to approve the consent calendar.
So move.
Second?
We have a motion to second approve the consent calendar. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We have an item on our business agenda tonight. We have appointments to the Planning Commission. Page 101. May I have the staff report, please?
Yes, good evening, Gail Henriksen, Community Development Director. We have 3 positions on the Planning Commission that their terms expired June 30th of this year. One of the members, Michael Magyar, has requested to be reappointed. The other 2 have resigned from the board. Staff is recommending, out of the 6 applications that we received, that the board appoint Tita Montero and Nadia Gardner to replace those 2 members.
Okay, thank you for that staff report. Are any of the candidates here for the Planning Commission? Oh, Nadia, hi. Anybody else? Okay. The only question I had was for staff. So I was looking, Gail, 2 reside, so, okay. I just wanted to make sure I had the geographic and the city thing straight in my head. Okay.
Well, I was wondering, there were several people who applied, and I would like to make a suggestion of, to consider someone else.
Absolutely. Make a motion. You can.
Okay, I move to reappoint Michael Magyar and to appoint Nadia Gardner, and also John Orr to the Clatsop County Planning Commission. to fill a term that ends on June 30th, 2022.
Is there a second?
A second.
We have a motion to reappoint Michael Magyar and to appoint Nadia Gardner and John Orr to the Clatsop County Planning Commission to fill a term that ends on June 30th, 2022. Seeing no further deliberations, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Thank you. Congratulations, Nadia. You're welcome. And let's see, where's my sheet? And now short meeting tonight.
Well, I think this is the shortest ever.
I think so. Well, we did have one that was under 15 minutes once.
Really? I must have
So
missed
we'll
that
just
one.
hang out a little bit and have a little chat. Commissioners' reports. Commissioner Nebaker.
Okay, let's see. I attended the Arts Council of Clatsop County meeting, and let's see. Monica Steele met with the council to communicate about tourism dollars and the distribution of the tourism dollars. While the Arts Council is not eligible, they volunteered to be on the committee to award tourism dollars, to make decisions about who would receive those. Let's see. Oh, they've decided on a logo for the Arts Council. That'll be nice because then they'll have branding, visual branding. It'll be on the website and also on their letterhead. There's 3 vacancies on the Arts Council in case anybody's interested in applying. Those applications need to be in by September 7th. There's an ongoing art inventory project that incorporates 29 areas along the coast. This has to do with public art and making it known to people, to visitors and residents, so they can know more about the public art and go see it. 8 of these areas do not have art. Gearhart is one of these areas. The city has rejected having public art, but now 1 to 2 pieces are going to be placed on private land but visible from public areas. 125 works exist in the inventory right now. The Partners for the PAC are working on fundraising so that they could purchase the PAC. I know that's been very controversial about the college owning it. They would have to put in so much money to renovate it, bring it up to code for their use. But evidently Partners for the PAC, it's a different criteria, so they're working on fundraising for this. Something that I didn't comment on or report on our last commissioners meeting, there was a comment from Matt Phillips at our last PCC meeting. He said that on average there's 11 calls to the Sheriff's Department from Walmart since it opened each day. I'm not sure how this compares to other stores in that area, but it seems like a high number.
Are those disturbances or?
Well,
Just
he
anything?
didn't say. The Sheriff's Department is called, they have to go out on average about 11 times a day. And I think since he commented on that, it must mean that it is unusual.
Theft.
He didn't say. And tomorrow I'll be taking a tour of the Helping Hands facility in Seaside.
Commissioner Clement.
Just a couple things. School starts September 4th, and this year they are trying to do online registration, pre-registration, and they claim that it's going quite well. They're trying to streamline a few things so that it's not so hectic when the kids come to register. So that's going on. State Fair begins this week. Lots of local kids from the 4-H are attending with their animals or with their hall exhibits. So that's always a wonderful showing to go to the State Fair and see all the Clatsop County exhibits from here. And all the kids with showing their animals there. In order to get there, you have to get a blue or better at our local fair. Hood to Coast is this weekend. I'm going to be running it. And there are 12,600 runners, 3,600 volunteers. It's 199 miles long. There's 43 Olympiads running it this year, and 1,050 teams. And of those teams, 600 of those teams are raising money for causes. So that's always goes up every year, and it's going up and up now.
Which leg are you going to be?
I'm like 5.
Where's that?
My first leg is near Sandy, kind of those like going up in Sandy. And my second leg is in kind of by St. Helens, I believe. So my first leg is at approximately 10 o'clock in the morning. The second leg will be about 6 o'clock, and then my third leg is on 202, and it's going to be about 4:30 a.m. So my son and I made him run it with me, one of my legs, because it was fairly close in Jewel, and it was daylight, and it's really super busy right now, lots of traffic, and like kind of hilly and uneven pavement and blackberries like sticking out onto the road the whole way. And he told me he only spoke a few words, and he's a really good runner, and he said, this is the worst run I've ever run on in my entire life. And he just was not happy. So anyway, I'm glad it'll be night and I won't be able to see where I am. So yeah, it's so my leg will be 19 miles. I'll run 19 of that, and there'll be 5 other people in my van, and then we exchange to the other van, and yeah, so I'm looking forward to it. Really excited.
Good for you.
And it's just amazing what it takes to put on something like this, and just how efficiently it's done, and so many people raising a lot of money for lots of different causes, and that's pretty amazing. There's also 300 porta potties along the way, so that's pretty amazing, and a big party in Seaside, and so hopefully it will be okay and everybody will be safe. And it looks like it's been challenging running the past few days because of the smoke, and yesterday was one of the hardest runs I've ever had, maybe in my whole life. It was terrible. I probably shouldn't have been running, but today was lots better. But tomorrow the air quality is supposed to be a lot better, and the heat is going down. So it looks to be it looks like a really good forecast for us. So I'm really happy about that, because it would be really challenging to run like yesterday for all that time, especially for people that don't run very much. So what were we going to say?
What year is this on the Hood to Coast? I like the.
It is, I have it here. Let me tell you. It's like 30?
30 something?
30 something. 34, I'm thinking. It started so small, and it's just great to see. There's a World Vision team that's running for water, pretty much. So everything, and there's quite a few Olympiads running on the World Vision team that are from Africa, and grew up in challenging places without water. So they're running specifically for water. So they anticipate raising $10,000 for water. So just for the country, and it's pretty neat.
Well, thanks.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. I have just an item. As you may have read in the paper, that there's an ongoing investigation going on with the Northwest Oregon Housing Authority. The board has initiated some investigations, and the lawyers have had to extend time to gather more information. And since the 2 investigations have started, there's been one of the persons has filed a BOLI complaint, Oregon Labor Industries, and also I can't remember, another complaint. And so the attorneys have asked for some more time. I've said before that I was hoping that the investigations had been wrapped up last Friday. in talking with the council yesterday, I expect to have one or two of the reports by this Friday. And so, and then I'll forward that report to Cam for distribution to the board. And then I'll consider what kind of action or that the Northwest Oregon Housing Authority Board will take. So it's a difficult process, a lot of moving parts. And, that's all I have to say about that now, and that's all I have. And interim county manager.
I do have a few items. So before you guys is the FAQ information regarding ballot measure 4-195 for the jail bond, and that's also been posted to the website as of today, and as on our county Facebook page too. In regards to that, on July 25th, when presenting the 17-18 quarterly financials, I had mentioned that timber revenues had come in significantly more than we had budgeted for. And given the large influx of these timber receipts in the 17-18 fiscal year, my recommendation to the commissioners would be to designate $3 million of these timber revenues for the jail construction remodel costs, should the bond pass in November's election. And this would make it clear where the additional construction costs are coming from, as well as making a positive statement about the county's commitment to this project and the willingness to commit significant financial resources, just to make this a more affordable option for the citizenry. In addition to that, the countywide marijuana tax measure will be on the November ballot as well. And at this time, the county has not committed those funds to anything. And so we're also thinking, that it would be prudent if, before dedicating those funds to anything specific, to see if there may be additional cost overruns or additional operation costs that these monies could also cover. I also mentioned at the June 27th meeting regarding the homelessness fund, and I just wanted to get some direction for staff. It was mentioned at that time that the board would draft the policy, and I just wanted to know if you wanted us to set up a work session, or if you wanted staff to draft something and bring it before you at a work session or at a board meeting. Was there any direction that you guys wanted to give on establishing a policy for the homelessness fund?
Yeah, that's a good question.
I would think staff and then a work session.
Okay.
Yeah, that sounds usually the way we kind of go. We'd have staff put together some sort of draft.
Great.
And then we'll bring something to the commissioners. And that's something that we should probably wrap up here before the end of the year.
Yes.
Yeah.
I would just interject that this is a very hot topic with a number of your fellow county commissioners throughout the state. And from what I understand, a number of the large counties are currently drafting policies that they should have done within the next couple weeks. So I'm hoping that I should be able to provide you with something that a lot of people have already thought about and a lot of full-time attorneys have already worked on, so.
Great, yeah.
Just a couple other things. The county's been approached by the cities of Astoria and Gearhart, and they're considering a ban on plastic bags. And they're just wondering if the commission might consider a ban for the whole county. And again, is this something that you would like staff to set up a work session on, or?
Oh, we don't need a work session on that. We'll
Okay.
just go ahead and ban plastic bags right now. Want us to do that? Want to make that motion?
Well, okay. Don't put me in that spot. This is my first time.
No, I think that's an important conversation. I talked to our Mayor Lemire about that, and she said, well, why don't we just, instead of getting each of the two cities to do it, maybe we can get this, the county to buy in too. And I think that we need to put, so
Okay.
staff can
Work
move
session.
forward on that.
Okay.
I think that's something that the board would be interested in having a conversation about.
I think so.
And the last thing I have is, additionally, the county's also been approached by the city of Warrenton, who is working with the city of Gearhart and ODFW, and they're each putting in up to $5,000 to put together an Oregon Solutions-led facilitated stakeholder process to create a new management unit for the Roosevelt elk situation that they have all been having to deal with. they're hoping that the county might play a part in this because the county holds jurisdiction over a number of the hunting lands. And so that's something else that, that we've been
I think absolutely the county
approached.
wants to have
Okay.
a seat at that table.
Okay. Great. And that's all that I've got.
All right, thank you for your report. Meeting's adjourned. Thank you, everybody. Have a good night.